kind of builds can we come up with for guns in this game? So I'm going to go over 5 different loadouts that can accomplish pretty much general purpose gaming on veteran mode. And we're going to go over the pros and cons to these builds. I have them all laid out for you. So the first one will be kind of cool. We have Rat Killer and Lynx. Now, the Rat Killer can be a normal Zuber. I did this build mostly because they look the same. No, it's actually not it at all. All right, so what is this build? So armor, it's up to you. Ignore the artifacts because that's not the focus of this video. So this would be, you would run Rat Killer or a Zuber as your main weapon for fighting most enemies, things that you want to just like mow down. It's good against junk mutants. It can be decent against like actual mutants if you're on armor piercing, and then the Lynx can also fill that role. Now we are foregoing a shotgun, but essentially you have like a spam weapon that can also be used for general combat. The Lynx actually one-tap headshots exoskeleton enemies with base ammo, which is very nice. And then we also just have Skiff's pistol on reserve. So this is kind of like SMG plus sniper, like DMR type of build with Skiff's pistol. So moving on. It's also cool because it matches, but all right, moving on, we have a more simplistic build. So just literally, now you can run Skiff's pistol or not, but literally just this. A Rhino and a Kad. Now, what is the point of this? Like, how is this good? So the Kad is a general weapon that can be used against pretty much anything. It can be good against anything because of its underbarrels and its basic, like, good stats. So if we attach the Holemaker to the Kad, it can now be good against literally every type of mutant in the game. You now have an infinite durability mini Saiga attached. You can use the Rhino to one-shot headshot at range, and if you want to upgrade it and add a 2-time scope, you can do that as well. So you have like a handheld long-range option versus the Kad, which can be used at close range, medium range, and you can take it out a little farther with the grenade launcher. The grenade launcher can clear rooms pretty quickly. It one-shots lower level enemies like the medium armor enemies and like bandits and stuff. A single grenade will just mass AoE wipe them out. But against exosuits, it does heavy damage, knocks them down, and staggers them. And then you can reload, send another follow-up shot, or just switch to the primary fire and just clean them up. So it has good crowd control. It has good functionality against mutants. It has good durability overall, and as well as with the underbarrels. And then the Rhino gives you a single shot range option to click on heads with. Oh, I need that. Let me get that Holemaker back. All right, carry on, Kad. All right, for the next build. So this is a very minimalistic build. And that is simply the APSB red dot optional unsilenced with an M701 Super with a Holemaker. And essentially what you want to be doing is using the Holemaker on mutants and junk enemies that, like, especially ones you can get close to, using the M701 Super for primary combat because it has good durability. So you can kill around like 350 to 400 enemies before you start seeing like jamming issues. Maybe closer to like 350, but still, like, that's a significant amount of enemies. The Holemaker also allows you to dip into shotgun ammo, so you can kind of use this as your main weapon. And then the APSB is a panic button for if you are under too much pressure and you need something reliable that can mow down things or put out good damage. Now against mutants, you can always just use the Holemaker, and you could also use armor-piercing rounds with the M701 to do huge damage. And with the APSB, armor-piercing rounds also deal pretty good damage as well. You could also equip Skiff's pistol. These dip into the same ammo type. But this is just another 2-weapon kind of minimalist build, leveraging the Holemaker. Now we want to run the APSB unsuppressed because suppressing it will reduce its overall durability when firing by 15%. And that's true of all weapons. Alright, so let's move on to the next build. Got another APSB build. So this one, I think this one's kind of fun. It's an SVU with Texan or a Ram 2 and an APSB. So the SVU can one-tap exos. It's a good mutant killer. So is Texan. Both of these are really powerful endgame weapons. The Texan has, I think, 425 shots before it breaks, which is pretty nice because you can use this in most engagements. Its range stat of 1.5 is more than enough to fight most of the things you're going to be fighting. Most mutant fights are close range, so you can use this for close range, and then use this for medium to long range. And then you have an APSB in reserve, also unsuppressed, so that you can get more durability out of it. But this is just a fun build. The SVU one-taps with base ammo, exosuits on veteran mode, and so does the Texan with base ammo. And if you upgrade it fully, it'll have very tight controllable spread, so you can actually shoot it from the hip, and you can you can sprint and jump and like crouch as you're jumping to get a nice tight spread, so that you can like headshot while jumping, which is pretty cool. So very dynamic, very like fast paced, pretty much good at every range. You can use Texan against mutants, you can use SVU against mutants, you can use the APSB against mutants. So all of these are good against literally everything. All right, and then for the final build. Okay, so this is just a very bare bones Zuber, Saiga, Rhino. I do not recommend running the APSB with this build. You can, and it's fine, but this particular build lacks range. So the Rhino is much better. Now, if you can't accurately land headshots and you want like something that has a faster fire rate, or if you don't think you can really pull off, you know, landing headshots with the Rhino in general, you can run an APSB or just Skips pistol. But the Zuber allows you to just mow things down. It's good at close to medium range. It has good durability. The Saiga is a good mutant killer. It also has good range when fully upgraded. You can go the slug gun route, so it shoots slugs only. That does hurt its durability a bit, but it increases its range to, I think, what this one is at, which is like 2.1 roughly. So you can get a pretty accurate medium range, close to medium range weapon that can mag dump mutants. And then of course the Rhino allows you to have something at range that can accurately like one-shot headshot exoskeletons that are far away or in cover, or that are just like out of the effective range of both of these weapons. So you have close range, spam gun, can mow down groups of exos fairly easily, same with the Saiga, and then the Rhino allows you to have range. And you could replace this with an APSB, but you'd be throwing out poke range damage. So the general theme of all these builds is you want a gun that can deal with spam, like stupid things like large rats, dogs, zombies, junk enemies you don't want to waste good ammo on. So like the Zuber is like the perfect weapon for that. And you also want something that can deal with mutants or that has burst damage. So it could be the Holemaker, it could be the Ram, it could be the Saiga, or it could even be the Rhino with AP rounds. And then you typically want something that can reach a little bit farther out. So the Rhino is always good, so that if your two primary weapons lack range, the Rhino is just always a good ranged option. But it's also good at point blank, and you can also pop a 2x scope or pop the 2x scope off so that you can use it at point blank or at range. So it's a very flexible sidearm that complements most of the good primaries in the game. And if I'm being honest, it's about as good as an M701 Super in most situations. Alright, so that is it for my 5 builds. Let me know what you think about these, or if you have any other cool builds you run in veteran mode. Typically when I make a build, I try to have a spam gun or a versatile gun, and then a good sidearm like an APSB or a Rhino, so that if I need to reload or something, or if I'm under pressure, I can whip it out and get some kills and defend myself. So definitely like and subscribe if you enjoyed this, and I'll see you in the next one.